In a dramatic escalation of tensions in the Middle East, Iran launched a massive missile attack targeting the United States Al Udeid airbase in Qatar. This offensive was reportedly a retaliation against recent B-2 stealth bomber operations and ongoing Israeli military actions, marking one of the most significant assaults on American forces in the region in recent years. Background and context. The Al Udeid Air Base, located southwest of Doha, Qatar, serves as a critical hub for U.S. military operations in the Middle East. It is the largest U.S. military base in the region and a central command center for air operations over Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. The base hosts thousands of American troops and houses advanced aircraft, including strategic bombers and fighter jets. Due to its strategic importance, it has long been a potential target in the event of regional conflict escalation. Tensions between Iran and the United States have been mounting for years, punctuated by economic sanctions, cyber warfare, proxy battles in neighboring countries, and direct military confrontations. The recent deployment of B-2 stealth bombers in Middle Eastern skies to conduct operations perceived as aggressive by Tehran was seen as a provocative move by Iran, leading to heightened alert across U.S. military installations. Simultaneously, Israel's intensified airstrikes on Iranian-backed groups in Syria and Lebanon further aggravated the already fragile situation. Tehran's leadership, interpreting these actions as direct threats to its influence and security, opted for a retaliatory strike designed to send a powerful message to both Washington and Tel Aviv. The attack, scale, and execution. In the early hours, under the cover of darkness and employing sophisticated missile technology, Iran launched hundreds of precision-guided ballistic and cruise missiles toward Al Udeid Air Base. The barrage included a mixture of short-range, medium-range, and possibly longer-range missiles, reflecting Iran's expanding missile capabilities. Initial intelligence reports indicate that Iran used multiple launch sites across its territory and employed advanced tactics to overwhelm missile defense systems. Some missiles were reportedly launched from Iranian territory, while others were believed to have been fired by allied militias in Iraq and Yemen, expanding the attack's complexity and reach. The missile salvo aimed to saturate the U.S. Patriot missile defense batteries deployed at Al Udeid. However, the sheer volume and variety of missiles put immense pressure on the base's defenses, causing significant disruption. Impact on Al Udeid Air Base. Despite active missile defense systems engaging the threat, several missiles reportedly penetrated the defensive shield. The strike caused structural damage to parts of the base's hangars, fuel depots, and command centers. Casualty reports remain unconfirmed officially, but unofficial sources suggest there were injuries among base personnel, with emergency medical teams rapidly responding. The attack temporarily disrupted air operations, forcing the temporary grounding of sorties and the reassignment of air assets. Critical infrastructure repairs are underway to restore full operational capacity. Strategic significance. The missile attack on Al Udeid Air Base marks a critical turning point in Middle Eastern geopolitics and the ongoing proxy conflicts involving Iran, the U.S., and Israel. By striking a major U.S. military installation directly, Tehran demonstrated both its growing military capabilities and its willingness to confront American power head-on. The attack also underscores Iran's strategic doctrine of asymmetrical warfare, leveraging missile technology, proxy forces, and cyber operations to challenge superior conventional military powers. This event serves as a warning to Washington and its allies that Iran can strike deep into areas previously considered secure. Reactions from the international community. The United States condemned the missile strike as an act of aggression and vowed a measured but firm response. President Joe Biden called an emergency meeting of the National Security Council and emphasized the U.S. commitment to protecting its forces and regional partners. Qatar, hosting the base, expressed concern over the violation of its sovereignty and the potential for regional destabilization. The attack raised fears of broader conflict spreading across the Gulf, drawing in multiple actors. Israel's government condemned the strike, linking it to Tehran's broader campaign of hostility and promising to continue its defensive and offensive operations against Iranian-backed groups. Israeli Prime Minister described the attack as a clear attempt to undermine regional security and challenge the international order. Several European and Gulf countries called for urgent diplomacy to de-escalate tensions, warning against the risk of a wider war that could have devastating consequences for global energy markets and security. Implications for U.S. military strategy. The missile attack has prompted a reassessment of U.S. military deployments in the Middle East. Defense analysts argue that the vulnerability of even the most fortified bases necessitates greater investment in missile defense technologies and intelligence capabilities. There is speculation about potential retaliatory airstrikes against Iranian missile launch sites and proxy bases in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. However, Washington is also cautious to avoid triggering a full-scale regional war. The event has highlighted the importance of strengthening alliances with Gulf states, increasing joint military exercises, and improving missile early warning systems. It also raises questions about the sustainability of U.S. military presence in the region amid increasing threats. Iran's message and regional impact. Iran's leadership framed the missile strike as a legitimate act of self-defense and a response to repeated aggressions by the U.S. and Israel. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei praised the operation as a historic victory and vowed to continue defending Iran's sovereignty and interests. The attack energized Iran's regional allies and proxy groups, who see it as a demonstration of Tehran's power and commitment to resisting Western influence. However, the escalation risks further destabilizing an already volatile region, threatening civilian populations and economic stability. Neighboring countries are on high alert, with some accelerating their military preparedness and others seeking diplomatic channels to prevent broader conflict. Future outlook. The missile strike on Al Udeid airbase marks a dangerous escalation with uncertain outcomes. Analysts warn that this event could either lead to a cycle of retaliatory violence or spur renewed diplomatic efforts to curb hostilities. The coming weeks will be critical in determining whether the U.S., Iran, and their respective allies can manage the crisis, or whether the region slides into a broader conflict. Key factors will include diplomatic negotiations, intelligence sharing, military readiness, and international pressure. Meanwhile, the attack serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of Middle Eastern geopolitics and the enduring volatility fueled by competing ambitions and alliances.